Hello everyone. In this session, let me explain the next concept. It is closure of a relation. Closure of a relation. The meaning of closure of a relation is, it is the smallest relation. Suppose if I have a relation R, then for this relation there exists one more relation, and that will be the smallest relation which satisfies particular properties, say reflexive, symmetric and transitive. I'll give you simple example in order to convey this concept. First let me explain the reflexive. That is reflexive closure, I can say. Reflexive closure. So reflexive closure in the sense, suppose if I have any set, I'll go through one counter example. Let me take one set A with an element 1, 2, 3. And if I have a relation R with a ordered pairs 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 1, 3, 2. Fine. Now I am trying to convince you the concept of reflexive closure. Suppose if I have a set A with elements 1, 2, 3 and I have defined a relation R from set A to set A itself. Now if this is the case, now let me check for reflexivity. Why? Because I am explaining reflexive closure, right? So first let me check whether it is reflexive or not. Since I have an element, as per the definition of reflexivity, suppose if I have an element A in R, A in a set given set A, then A comma A should belongs to R. This is what the definition of reflexivity is. Fine. Suppose if I have an element in set, then repeated element should be in R. Now I have an element 1, so 1, 1 should be there. Again I have an element 2, but here we don't have an element 2 comma 2. Again 3 is there, so I should have 3 comma 3. So it is not reflexive. Now I will make this relation R is reflexive by adding certain ordered pair, and that ordered pair we called as a reflexive closure. In this particular relation, let me denote this as delta A. 1, 1. I have to add certain ordered pairs to this relation in such a way that will make us given relation as reflexivity. So that will be 2 comma 2, 3 comma 3. In the sense, if I have a set A, when I'm going to have these elements minimum ordered pairs in a given relation R, then this relation becomes transitive. Then this relation becomes reflexive. I'm repeating once again, given a set A, when I'm going to add this particular ordered pairs, that is I can say relation, and it is a smallest relation, and when you're going to add this relation to a given relation, this relation will become reflexive. Then this relation delta A is called as reflexive closure. Therefore, reflexive closure of a relation R is 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Meaning is, by adding these elements to the given relation, relation becomes a reflexive closure. Anyhow 1, 1 is already there, so you are going to add 2, 2 and 2, 3. In the sense, our reflexive closure can be obtained by combining R with our delta A. In the sense, R1 will become union. You are going to take union with this set along with delta A set. So you will get 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 1, 3, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3. Just have taken union with the delta A. Now you can notice that this relation R1 becomes reflexive by adding this particular relation. So this relation is called as reflexive closure. This relation obtained is reflexive. Clear? Now similarly, symmetric closure. Symmetric closure in the sense, as per the same concept, when do we say relation is symmetric? Suppose if I have an ordered pair AB in R, then there should exist BA in R. Then only a given relation become symmetric. Now have a look at the same relation R. Here I have an element 1, 2. See here, let me take a relation once again, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 1 and 3, 2. I have an element 1, 1 here. Again 1, 1 is also here. Now 1, 2 I have, but I don't have 2, 1 here. In order to make R as reflexive, 2, 1 should be there. So let me write 2, 1. Why? Because 2, 1 is not there in this relation. Next 2, 3 is there. So as per symmetric definition, 3, 2 should be there. Here it is. So no need to add 3, 2. Now 3, 1 is there. 1, 3 should be there. But 1, 3 is not in this relation. I have to add the element 1, 3. Fine. Now we say this relation R is called symmetric closure. I can represent this as R inverse. Why? Because I have already told you if R is a relation from A to B consisting of an ordered pair A comma B, then R inverse will be a relation from B to A consisting of an element B comma A. So that is what I have written. So I can write this as R inverse. So our symmetric closure can be obtained by combining R with R inverse. So that R2 will become 1 1 1 2 2 3 3 1 3 2 2 1 1 3. I have just taken union. Now you can check this relation will become symmetric, but initial relation R is not a symmetric. By adding this relation to the given relation, adding in the sense taking union, you are going to get a relation that will be definitely symmetric. So this is what the meaning of reflexive and symmetric closure. Yeah, reflexive and symmetric closure. But coming to the concept of transitive closure, it is not very easy to extract the transitivity. So in the previous class itself, I have explained you to collect the transitivity or transitive closure, we need to extract the paths which is of a shorter length, right? So it is very difficult process when number of vertices goes on increasing. So that is why we have an algorithm to find transitive closure. Transitive closure. To find the transitive closure, it is very important concept. We have an algorithm called Warshall's algorithm. Warshall's algorithm. So this algorithm we will make use to find the transitive closure of a given relation. Now let me explain the procedure of finding Warshall algorithm. Let me take one problem in order to convey you. Suppose if I have a set A with an element say A, B, C, D. Fine. And let me take a relation R with ordered pairs AD, CD, CA, B, A, B, C and D, C. This is what the elements we have in a given relation, and I have a set A with an elements A, B, C, D. Now we have to find the transitive closure by making use of Warshall algorithm. Please listen carefully. First step is we have to construct a matrix of relation. Anyhow, we are familiar with that, right? So let me do that matrix of relation. While writing matrix of relation, you are going to list the elements here, just for your reference, right? So when an ordered pair in the relation belongs to a relation, you are going to write it 1. If it doesn't belong, you are going to write it as 0. Now look at a relation A, A. Do we have an ordered pair A, A? We don't have, so make it as 0. Next, A to B. Do we have A to B? We don't have, so make it 0. Next, A to C. We don't have, so make it 0. A to D, yes we have, take that as 1. Fine. Now similarly go for B. B to A, yes we have, so make it as 1. Next, B to B we don't have, B to C 1, B to D 0. Next, C to A, yes we have, C to B 0, C to C is also 0, C to D is also 1, and D to A is 0, D to B is 0, D to C is 1, D to D is 0. You are already familiar with that, with this matrix of relation. Now what I did is, given a relation, I have written a matrix of relation. This is what the first step is. Next step, whatever the matrix you have written for a given relation, take that matrix as W0. W0 is the initial step here. So just rewrite the given matrix as it is. 1 0 0 1 0 0 1 0. Fine. First step, you have to write a matrix of relation. Next, rewrite the given whatever the matrix you have obtained for matrix of relation, just you take that as W0. Now here the algorithm applies. Actually W1 we have to write. So you should not write element as it is. First thing is, you might get confusion here. I'll explain here, but you should not write this working in your examination. I'm writing this just for your understanding. Now look at the first column. First you have to write column. Next row. Look at the first column and note wherever you have 1. You can know I think you are familiar with the position of an element, right? So when you have matrix, first element will be A11, second element A12, third element A13. In the second row, it will be A21. First element, so when I say Aij, first element represent row. second element represents column. Fine. Now wherever 1 is there in the first column, you just make a note of there. So A21, this is the position A21. Fine. Again I have A31. So what I did is I have listed the element where I have 1 in a first column. First column I am talking about. Fine. That is for W1. Now list an element where you have 1 in the first row. So we have in the first row we have an element 1 in the position A11, A12, A13, A14. Clear? First you just note the position of an element where you have 1 in first column and in first row. Now since compare these two now. See here A21, A14. One element is common. So I can write this as A24 resulting here. Result is here. Fine. See A24 transitivity. Next compare this with the given element. 1 is already there continuation. So I can write A34. This is very important step. If you understand this, then only you can write further. Clear? Now see what I did is I have written a position of an element where I have 1 in the first column. Similarly I have written a position of an element 1 where I have first row. Now first and here second element index and first element index is same. So as per the transitivity I have written A24. Again I have compared this with this. Again 1 repeated, 3 4 I have written here. Now whatever the result is obtained, put 1 for that particular position. In the sense A24. Second row fourth element becomes 1. This is first row, second row, first column, second column, third column, fourth column. This element becomes 1. Similarly A34. So third row fourth element becomes 1. That's all. I am repeating once again. Once you are finished writing columns and row position of an element where you have 1, you just apply transitivity property and make a list of this, and just substitute the value 1 wherever you have this position. A second row fourth column, A third row fourth column. So that is what I have done. Now for the remaining place, whatever the values we have in the previous step, that is W0, you just write it as it is. That is 0 0 0 1 as it is. Now for the second row 1 I have 0 1, but here I have 0, but you are not going to change here. You have already written this, so you are not going to change these two elements. Rest of the element whatever is there, you just copy the same. So this is what our W1 is. Now the same step will continue now. See here I am going to do W2. Now for W2, whatever the procedure you have done for W1, you have to follow the same. Next second column you have to list, and third row you have, second row you have to list. First column first row, second column second row. Fine. Now list. You'll go to the second column. Do we have any element here? 1. Do we have 1 in any of this column? No. In the second column we don't have 1, so no need to write again. So if element is not there in the second column, we are not going to talk about second row. If you have an element here, then only you can talk about second row. So there is no updation in W2. So whatever the matrix is there, you just rewrite the same matrix. I'll repeat it once again. Why? Because I have to note down the element 1 in the second column. In the second column we don't have any element with 1. So we are not going to get any element in the second column. So no need to go for second row. You have to stop this step and you have to write W1 as it is for W2. Now we have to continue the same. W3. So for W3, first write third column and third row positions where you have 1. So look at the third column. Here you have third column, and the position is this elements A second row third column. So A23, here it is A fourth row third column. So A43 you have. So you have obtained third column elements. Now you can talk about third row. Fine. Now go to the third row. Third row, first row, second row, third row. Third row you have to note this position in the sense A31, A34. Now let me write transitive result in the sense I have continuation of elements, so I will get A21. when you compare this with first element. Now do the same for second. So 3 and 3 is there, I can write A24. Fine, I am going to release the result here. Now A43 is there, A31 is there, so continuation is there, I can write A41 with this first, and with this second will become A44. So I have to make these position elements as 1. In the sense, second row first element, first row second row first element is 1, second row fourth element is also 1, and fourth row first element, third row fourth element is 1, fourth row first element, fourth row fourth element. So fourth row fourth element is 1. Rest of the numbers will be as it is from the previous step. So let me do that. Third row as it is. We are not going to change anything for third row. Clear? This is what we have. Now we have already done for third column, right? Now let me write W4. Fine. So to write W4, I have to list for fourth column and fourth row. So fourth column, look at the fourth column. We have an element once in a position A1, first row, fourth column, A14, A1, A24, A34 and A44. Fine. This is for fourth column. Again fourth row you have to go. So fourth row A41 and A44. Now let me write the result here. A14 with this. So last element is same, so I can get A11. With second element I am going to get A44 is same, so I am going to get A14. Fine. Next A24 with this, A21. Again A24 with A44, you are going to get A24. Same procedure, repeat for all the element. You will get A34 with A41 will give A31. With this you are going to get A34. Fine. Again A44 with A41, A41, A44 with A44 will be A44 only. So first row first element is 1. First row fourth element is 1. Next, second row first element is 1. Second row fourth element is 1. Second row fourth element is 1. Third row first element is 1. Third row fourth element is 1. Next, fourth row first element is 1. Fourth row fourth element is also 1. But see here, in the fourth row we have 3 ones, right? See here, in the fourth row I have written only A41 and A44, but we have A43 also. Fine. So A43. So with this I am going to write one more step. So A14 with A43 will become A13. Clear? Again A24 with A43 will become A23. Again A34 with A43 will become A33. Again A44 with A43 become A43. In the sense, first row third element, second row third element, third row third element, fourth row third element. Fine. And the second row will be continued from the previous step. Fine. Now I am just repeating the procedure once again. You just listen to me. First step is we have to write the matrix of a relation. Fine. Now we have to take the same as W0. Now list a element where you have 1 in first column. First you have to write column. Next row. Fine. Next I have written first row. Fine. Now compare with each and every element. You're going to get you're going to apply transitive relation. You're going to get these elements. So you have to put 1 in this particular position, A24. So second row fourth element and third row fourth element. Third row fourth element you're going to change it 1. Rest of the numbers will be same from the previous step. Again for W2 in this particular problem, look at the second column where you have 1. You don't have ones in the second column, so no need to go for row. You're going to write the same for W2 also. Now go for W3. For W3 you have to look for W2 where you have 1 in a third one. Fine. So in third one you have A23 and A43 I have written here, and same way in third row you have to write the elements 1 and compare, apply transitivity relation, replace 1. Similarly when you're going to get W4, you're going to look at W3 and listing the elements, applying the transitivity property and listing the elements in W4. Now our required transitive closure will be, this is what ABCD is. ABCD is, wherever 1 is there you just keep on noting it. So A comma A, again A comma C, again A comma D. Fine. Similarly, B comma A. Next B to C. Next B to D. Similarly, C to A. C to C. Again C to D. Next D. D to A. D to C and D to D. So this is the required transitive closure of a given problem. Anyhow, let me explain one more example so that you will understand very well. See here, let me take A as A, B, C, D. I have a set with elements this, and let me consider a relation R as AB, BA, DA, CD and BC. Fine. I have a set and I have a relation with this. Now first step, we have to write the matrix of relation. Let me take that as MR. So I have an element A, B, C, D here. Write the same here also. Now A to B, we don't have A to A, 0. A to B I have, A to C I don't have, A to D I don't have. Again B to A I have, B to B I don't have, B to C I have, B to D 0. Again C to A 0, C to B, C to C 0, C to D 1, 1, D to A 1, D to B 0, D to C 0, D to D 0. This is as usual of writing matrix of a relation R. Now we have to write W0 as it is. Whatever the matrix is there, you have to write the same. Fine. Next for W1, since you are writing W1, right, you have to make a note of first row. First you have to take first column and first row. Find first column, first row. First make a list of first column. First column A21, second row first element. Second row first element and fourth row first element. Now look for the first row. In the first row you have first row second element A1 2. Now apply the transitivity relation. See here continuation is there, so I will get A22. Again for these two A42 I am going to get. Now I have to replace A22 and A42 with 1. In the sense second row second element, first row second element will become 1. Fourth row second element, third row fourth row second element will become 1. Rest of the elements will be same. Clear? Just what I did is I have changed A22 and A42 to 1. A22 is this and A42 is this. So I have changed these two elements, rest of the elements as it is. Clear? Now I am going to write W2 from W1. So let me write second column and second row element. So second column, look at the second column and write down the position A1 2. Fine. Again here A22. Again A42. Now we have to look for the second row. Second row we have A21. Next A22. Next A23. Clear? Now I have to apply transitivity relation right from first element. When you compare first two, you are going to get A11. These two you are going to get A12. Right? These two you are going to get A13. Clear? Similarly, first and this you are going to get A21. First and this you are going to get A22. This is result, that is transitivity, right? Again this and this you will get A23. Fine. A42 with A21 will give us A41. Again these two will give A42. These two will give A43. So this is from transitivity relation. Now we are going to change position of only these elements. A11 in the sense first element 0 will become 1. A12 in the sense second element, first row second element will become 1. Next A13, this element will become 1. This element is not going to change, 0. Next second row first element is 1. Second row second element is 1. Second row third element is 1. Fourth element as it is. Third row we are not going to change anything, so let me rewrite as it is. Now fourth row I am changing, right? Fourth row first element will become 1. Fourth row second element will be 1. Fourth row third element will be 1. It is 0 as it is. Clear? Now I have written W2. Now I have to go for W3. For W3, third column, third row. Look at the third column. So in third column we have see here in third column we have the first row third element, that is A13. Fine, I'm looking for third column, right? So this is a third column, A13, and this is A23 and A43. Now look at the third row. In third row we have only one, that is A. Third row fourth element, that is A34. Now apply transitivity result. This two will give us A14. These two we cannot, yes we can, 3 so A24 it will give. So these two will give us A44. So you are going to change A14 now. A140 will become 1. So rest of the element is same. Next A24. In second row fourth element will become 1 and remaining as it is. Next third row we are not going to change anything. We are going to change only fourth row. So third row will remain as it is. Now for the fourth row fourth element will become 1. Rest of the elements you have to write as it is, no? So you have ones here. I'm sorry. So let me write ones. That is from the previous step. So I have obtained W3. Now let me write W4. So for W4 you have to look at the fourth column and fourth row. Fourth column and fourth row. This is only for your reference. You need not to write this in exam. So fourth column, look at the fourth column. We have all ones, that is A first row fourth element, A24, similarly A34, A44. Similarly look at the fourth element, you are going to get it as A fourth row first element, A41, A42, A43, A44. Now apply the transitivity. First with this will give us A11. First with second will give us A12. First with third will give us A13. First with fourth will give us A44. Clear? Similarly second with first will give us A21. This with this will give us A22. I am just removing repeated value, writing the remaining. A24 with this gives us A23. Similarly this with this will give us A24. Now apply the third one. Third with 1 will give us A31. This with this will give us A32. A34 with A43 will give us A33. This with last will give us A34. Similarly A44 with A41 will give A41. This with this will give us A42. These two A43. Again these two A44. In the sense you have to make all these positions as 1. In the sense A11 1. A12 A13. A12 A13 is 1. Next, I'm sorry, it is A44, it is not A44, it is A14 is 1. See here A21, A22, A23, A24, so everything is 1. A31, A32, A33, A34, everything is 1. A41, A42, A43, A44, everything will become 1. So this is what the required transitive matrix is. Now I have to write the transitivity, that is transitive closure. It is given by, it is like A, B, C, D. A to A connect all with all. A to A, A to B, A to C, A to D, again B to C, B to D, B to C, B to A, B to B, B to C, B to D. Similarly C to A, C to B, C to C, C to D, again D to A, D to B, D to C, and D to D. So this is what the required transitive closure is. Hope it is clear. So Warshall algorithm, I'll give you 2 more problems. You try yourself. If you are finding difficulty, let me know. So this completes Warshall algorithm. Next will be the concept of poset. So while explaining the concept of relation, I have clearly explained the concept of poset. A relation R is said to be poset if it satisfies reflexive, antisymmetric, and transitive. So if it satisfies all these 3 conditions, we say that is poset or partially ordered set. So for any set A, poset is represented by A comma less than or equal to within this type of bracket. It should not be curly or it should not be parenthesis. It should be within this type of bracket. So this represents poset of a given set A. So before getting to the topic, let me explain the concept of D30. So this is a famous example or a familiar example, I can say, throughout whatever we have the concept, rest of the concept, that is whatever the theorem I am going to take, whatever the concept, I'll take this as particular example in order to convey. Remember, D3 represent divisors of a number 30. So divisors in the sense a number we should divide 30 completely. Obviously 1 will divide, 2 will divide 30, right? So 2 times 2 15s are 30. Similarly 3 will divide, but 4 cannot divide 30. Similarly 5 is dividing, 6 is dividing, 10 is dividing, 15 is dividing. Again 30 is the only divisor. So apart from these numbers, it cannot be divisible by any of the numbers. So remember, D30 consists of all these elements. Now if you are going to write a relation R within this D30, you can write like 1 comma 1. Why? Because 1 should divide 1. Whatever the element you are going to write inside, they should be divisors of one another. Like if you are going to write 1 2, 1 is completely dividing 2. Fine. 1 3 I can write, 1 5 I can write, 1 6 I can write, 1 10 and 1 15, 1 30. Fine. Why? Because 1 divides every number. But I cannot write 2 comma 1. Why? Because 2 cannot divide 1 completely. You are going to get decimal. It should not be the case. In the sense 2 cannot divide 1. So I cannot write 2 1 here. But 2 divides itself, 2 2. 2 cannot divide 3. 2 cannot divide 5. But 2 can divide 6. Again 2 can divide 10. Again 2 can divide 15. Again 2 can divide 30. Clear? Again 3. 3 cannot divide 1 and 3 cannot divide 2. 3 cannot divide 5. But 3 divides 6. 3 cannot divide 10. 3 divides 15. And 3 divides 30 also. Now coming to the next element 5. 5 cannot divide 3, cannot divide 2, cannot divide 1, cannot divide 6. But 5 divides 10. And 5 divides 15. 5 divides 30. Fine. Next element 6. 6 cannot divide 2, 6 cannot divide 3, cannot divide 5, cannot divide 10. 6 cannot divide, but 6 can divide itself, right? So I forgot to write here also, right? 3 can divide itself. So 3 comma 3 I can write. Again 5 can divide itself. I forgot to write those elements, right? Now I am talking about 6. 6 cannot divide 3, 6 cannot divide 5. But 6 can divide itself. 6 cannot divide 10, 6 cannot divide 15. But 6 can divide 30. Similarly, writing all the elements, I am going to get 10 comma 10, 10 comma 30, 15 comma 15, 15 comma 30, 30 comma 30. So throughout the rest of the concept you have to remember this. So when I said D30, it represents divisors of 30 and the elements inside the relation will be something like this. Clear? Now coming to the definition part, that is some exam. It may or may not be asked in the exam, but in some year, I don't know the exact year, it was asked the definition. So first concept is comparable. Everything is related to poset only, a comma less than or equal to. So any elements A and B of this poset, if in a poset we have an element A and B, poset in the sense it is reflexive, antisymmetric and transitive. So if in a poset if you have an element say A and B, they are comparable only when A less than or equal to B or B less than or equal to A. If it satisfies these two conditions, we can say they are comparable. For example, let me take these two. Within this poset, within this relation, let me consider an element 1 comma 3. So 1 3. Here obviously 1 is less than or equal to 3. So first condition itself satisfies. So we can say 1 and 3 are comparable. That's all. So an element A and B in a poset is comparable only when it satisfies this condition. Fine. Now incomparable in the sense an element A and B in this particular poset is incomparable if neither A less than or equal to B nor B less than or equal to A. In the sense, in this particular example, I can say 2 and 3 are incomparable. 2 and 3 are incomparable. Why? Because we don't have an element 2 and 3, right? Because 2 cannot divide 3. So that is why I have not written 2, 3. Similarly, I can write 2 and 1 are not comparable. Whereas 1 and 2 are comparable. Why? Because 1 is less than or equal to 2. Or 2 is 1, 2. In this particular relation, 1, 2 is there, but 2, 1 is not there. Fine. It is neither satisfy this condition nor satisfy this condition. In the sense that element should not be there in this relation. Simply I can say an element A comma B is not comparable only when it is not existing in the relation. That's all. Fine. Now coming to the concept of totally ordered set or linear ordered set. let me write here, totally ordered set or linear ordered set. So when you're going to take a set of all comparable elements, I have already told you whenever we are going to take an element, if it satisfies these two conditions, I can say it is comparable. Fine. So when you're going to take set of all the comparable elements, we say that set is a totally ordered set or linear ordered set. Fine. Next is anti-chain. Anti-chain. Anti-chain is none other than it is a subset of partial ordered set in such a way that no two elements are comparable. No two elements are comparable. It is just a reverse. So see here, when you have total ordered set, it contains set of all comparable elements or comparable set. When I said anti-chain, it contains set of all elements which is not comparable. In the sense, I will give you example. 6 and 10 are not comparable. Why? Because 6 cannot divide 10, right? We don't have, moreover, we don't have that element in this particular set. So 6 and 10 will be an element of anti-chain. Clear? Hope so it is clear. And rest of the concept will be explained based on this particular example only. So remember this particular example. I'll use this particular example in the rest of the classes to convey the concept. Thank you. Continue in the next session.